Hey, Chief.
Yeah, you know if anybody signed in? Should I can check.
No, I didn't even pull it out.
Make sure your staff report's at least 15 minutes long. Just saying, I know.
Sorry to get that to you at the end of the day. I got retasked.
That's fine.
Folks, if anybody'd like to speak, the sign-in sheet's back here.
Hey Chuck, how are you? Good, good.
Dr. Rossi, how are you, sir?
Liliana, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Recording in progress.
Call this meeting to order. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call for the record. Mayor Lindsay,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Howe,
Here.
Councilor Crane,
Here.
Councilor Weeks,
Here.
and Councilor Humbert.
Here.
We have a quorum. You may proceed.
At this time, I'd ask Mayor Pro Tem Howe to make a motion to approve the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's Mayor Pro Tem Howe to make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
At this time, do we have anybody in the audience that'd like to address the council? If not, we're gonna move on to announcements and proclamations by the council. Does anybody have anything?
I do. We're on the Trails Committee, we're hoping that, we're optimistic that we'll soon get that last little link to connect. The trail, we're still working on that. There's a proposal to include a parkour, with the skateboard park and the putt park that we'll be looking at. We are going to request to add 2 recreational focused members to the board. So we'll come with y'all the next agenda for that. And then June 7th is National Trail Day, so we're hoping that they're probably going to, the trekkers will probably have a meeting at the visitor center with Greg and maybe have some trail events going on.
Fantastic.
And on the comprehensive planning committee, we are in the process now of compiling all of our data that we've been collecting and putting it into a format which we hope to present to the council late May, early June as a draft.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Moving on to staff reports. Before we start, I'd like to start with one of our new staff, our medical director and new doctor at the Moreno Valley Clinic, Dr. Michael Rossi. I just wanted to introduce him and give him an opportunity to introduce himself to the community.
I'm not gonna say much, just, I'm not even sure what meeting I'm interrupting, but, I'll say, like I said, the last meeting I was in here, now I can say, what is it, 11 days? I'm now in my 11th day as a permanent resident of Angel Fire, so hopefully that tells you where my heart is. Tell your friends, and if you're on the list right now, I'm just going through trying to catch everybody up on their prescription, trying to treat anything urgent, be patient with me. I'm dancing as fast as I can, but please, if you see me anywhere in town, if you need anything, flag me down, come see me. I'll be more than happy to step off to the side and help you in any way I can, but thanks so much for the vote of confidence and let me be a part of your community. And bear with me and please be forgiving, I'll do my best.
Thank you. I'd also like to take this opportunity to recognize our Colfax County Chairman, Todd Tatum. Chairman Tatum, thanks for coming this evening.
Yes, sir.
Next up, our airport director, Jeff Gilmer.
Mr. Mayor, councilors, Manager Weir, and the most important person to see you. Oh, it's good to see you all. I'm gonna keep this pretty brief. I'm going to make a couple fun things to start with here. Well, it's all fun. First of all, when I approached you the last session, we authorized a new hire to work, kind of fill in for Mr. Joel. And I want to announce that, well, about 40 hours ago, he is the proud papa of a 7-pound, 14-ounce little boy. And so his girlfriend and baby are all doing great. So just so you know, just to get that. The other thing I want to do, and I said at the directors meeting earlier this week, but I want to call out our visitor center, in particular Brandon and Greg. I showed up last week in the hangar, and there's this big, huge, beautiful "Welcome to Angel Fire" sign that is sitting in the back of the hangar that will get put up on the outside of the hangar to greet those pilots as they come in. First time it's ever had anything like it. It was a simple conversation. Hey, this would be great to have a couple of months ago, and lo and behold, there it sat. So I just want to call them out in front of you all. That was really great to see that. So on to the airport business. Pretty much the same as the last time I spoke with you. This is a very low season. We don't have a lot of traffic coming in right now. We're still seeing 2 or 3 airplanes a day come through, except on the bad weather days. So as far as revenues go, as far as those type of things, there's not much more to report on that. We do have 2 more people that are looking for contracts for hangar space, which is really good. And that makes, I think I explained the last time, every time we put an airplane in the hangar and make a mark on the BARC with the FAA, that helps us when we go to get put our hand out and ask for grants and funding in the future. So also the new hire has just done an amazing job just detail cleaning the hangar and everything. So I got an attaboy from one of our regular hangar VCs just an hour or so ago saying thank you for that and how nice it's looking in there. So that's part of it. I think the big news that I wanted to share with you today, the Colfax County Commission approved the hangar position and orientation today in the meeting. So as we spoke the last time, we were looking to put the 4 hangar building on the south side of Taxiway F. The commission approved that. They also approved the fact that it's going to be oriented towards the doors towards the east. That means a little bit of work for us. We talked somewhat about, if we have cost overruns, how do we do that? Do we go back out, look for more funding to do it? The Moles & Corbin, who's the engineer for this project, has promised to have, by next Wednesday in Colfax County, an RFP, a completed design, and cost for us to look at. So that means that it'll be on the agenda for the next Colfax County meeting and can get voted and sent out for RFP, and we can start getting some contractors to start building and getting the doors fixed and getting the fuel containment pad. Other things that we're just looking at is just website that will attach to the visitor center and the Angel Fire Village website that'll direct pilots to all the operational phone numbers and things that we have available to them. And also a logo redesign for the airport. Even though there was one that was commissioned several years ago, we're looking for a revamp. And that logo will basically mirror what we have just recently got with our new Angel Fire logo. So that's about it. I stand for any questions.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, no, thank you.
Next up, we have our project director, Raji Lira. Is he in here? Shay Tiblish with us this evening? I don't know that I saw her. Director Epler. I know he's here.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Clerk Strickland. Quick update on Public Works, departments and projects. Starting with projects, we had intended to start with the water line on Allen Fields, but the water department has been held up by an extremely rocky dig for a water service. A task that usually takes a few hours. We're probably going to be going into our 4th day on that dig. But right-of-way's mowed, everything's ready to go. Even though we have not received the materials in, we have materials in stock that'll allow us to begin the project. Where the work session had discussion about workforce housing and the challenges that we have in front of us to be able to get started on that. And once we get everything done and are allowed to break ground, we'll do that as soon as we can, with the goal of being done with all the infrastructure work by mid-September. Department-wise, actually, forgive me, one other project we have that is going to be starting soon is the paving, the milling and paving of Country Club Drive, which if you recall, we received TPF funding for. GM Emulsions, I have been in contact with them. They still are on schedule to start the 28th with the milling, and with the goal of paving the following week. Okay. They will also have a crew here the latter part of this week to address some punch list items at CS Ranch and Valley Road project up near the community center. And we are still on schedule for South Angel Fire Road and Aspen Street for the 1st week of June. So really excited about those projects. With departments, water department is, like I said, I've been installing water meters. We're currently down to 2 meters on the list. Both of those on the list are not prepared for their meter at this time, for various unique situations. So we're essentially caught up on that. We have just recently placed an order for 15 fire hydrants and components to repair about 20 other fire hydrants. And right now we're looking at, within the next 2 to 3 weeks, dedicating a crew solely to repairing fire hydrants and replacing those. We have some that actually have the top sheared off of them and have been that way for quite some time. We intend to fix those, and we do have some that are just non-functioning and need to be replaced. So we're well on track to be able to dedicate a crew entirely to addressing fire hydrants, and hopefully we can get a good number of those resolved prior to the potential inspection from the state fire marshal. In streets department, we have been milling up some of the chip sealed roads. It has been going really well. The roads are coming out nice. The process is going well. The type of machine used requires a lot of day-to-day maintenance. So, you know, in a 10-hour day, they're probably getting about 7 hours of operation in it. Got to change teeth, so forth and so on. And I will say that at this point I've received no negative feedback from the work that the guys have done. It's all been positive. I think we all realize some of those roads just couldn't be repaired in the state that they were in with the chip seal present. And that's coming out pretty well. The streets department has also been intermittently working on the temporary events center in the back. We started to get base course delivered Friday. And we're spreading it as they deliver it and doing the milling projects as we go. Maintenance department will be, in the next couple of days, have sweeping and cleaning operations on Country Club Drive. There's a pretty significant amount of, a good accumulation of sediment and cinders and everything else that we want to clean off before GM Emulsions gets here, because we have the capability, and I'd rather not deal with the change order on the first day of the project. And business as usual with solid waste. There was a great turnout for our community cleanup today, and town's looking great. I stand for any questions. Yes, sir.
Did you say 15 or 50 fire hydrants?
15.
Oh, thank you. And the zipper that you're using for the chip seal,
Yes, sir.
those teeth, I guess they do, whenever they hit a rock, they object a little bit.
They object, and they dislike manhole covers and valve cans even more. But our one's been staying, and the water department guys have been staying well ahead of the crew, marking existing utilities.
Thank you.
And I will add that we have also milled the majority of South Angel Fire Road and the portion of Aspen Street that had chip seal on it. And we just have one short stretch remaining. We're gonna hold off till right before, because there's some new pavement that butts up to it. And and I apologize for not having the exact number, but it's gonna be a pretty significant savings for us on a line item that GM Emulsions would have charged us on those two projects.
And what will you do with the millings?
They're milled in with the existing subgrade.
Okay,
And then the pavement will go over the top.
okay.
And given that the majority of the chip seal is 1/2 to 3/4 inches thick, and we're milling at a depth of 6 inches, it's blending it all in really nice.
Thank you, sir. Next up is our fire chief, Jason Vance.
Good evening, everyone, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, Manager Weir, and Clerk Strickland. I'm also wanted to extend my gratitude for Dr. Rossi being here and meeting with us. Really excited for him to be here. Having that resource in the community, I think, is going to be a wonderful thing. Also wanted to say happy Earth Day to everybody, and congratulations to Greg Ralph for putting on a great event, and everybody else who was involved, and really was good. I think we got a lot of trash picked up, and unfortunately the fire department lost this one, so not again. We won't lose again. We had a bad contest and we came up short. So. I'll start off with the Wildland and Slash program. We're super busy this time of year, just got everything rolling. We've done 5 home assessments so far. If anybody wants a home assessment done for their home, I encourage them to reach out to either Lindsay Reed or Captain Romo, and we can coordinate doing a home assessment for the Defensible Space Ordinance. We've already given out a couple of letters for insurance companies, as well as assessments for feedback of things that needed to be trimmed up around the house to make it more safe for wildfire. For Slash, we've already picked up 100 yards of Slash, and we've received about another 700 yards that has been delivered to the site there. If y'all don't know, we cleared out the lot, and we've been able to keep up successfully with all new Slash intake. So far so good on that front, so I challenge the community to bring us more Slash to see what our limits are. We do have a new app-based form. We're collecting data when somebody brings in Slash, and we're filling out a form so that on the back end we can collect more accurately how much Slash we're bringing in. That'll give us a better idea of what our capabilities are for the future. So if you're comfortable in filling out that app, you're welcome to scan that QR code and start ahead of time before you bring it over to the Slash department to drop it off. If you're not, the paper option is still available. We're making a couple of improvements out at the Slash yard. We're gonna have some gravel delivered, so hopefully when it gets muddy, we'll be able to prevent anybody from getting stuck. For the Fire Adaptive Committee, we are also working, I've been asked to add a little bit of language for a good neighbor policy. The idea is if you're working on a defensible space for your home and you're within the radius of your home to a neighbor's property, how do you get that neighbor to be able to give you permission to go onto their property and thin out as it pertains to your defensible space? So hopefully we're drafting something up and be able to have that in place soon and offer it as a tool for people to use. Any questions so far?
Chief, when
Yes, sir.
will you be able to start burning the new Slash?
We're already using the ACI burner, as weather permits, of course. But as far as larger pit burns, we're gonna have to keep a close tab on weather and what burning conditions are. I'll just segue that into, we are not under current burn restrictions at the moment. We're keeping a close look on the indices and working with surrounding partners to make sure that we're not in a burn ban currently for Village of Manger Fire. So if we do go into a burn ban, we'll publish it on all of our Facebook and website and everything else we have available to us. Treating employee, his name is John Schomburg. He is also qualified as a fire inspector. So he'll be able to help us out working with the State Fire Marshal's Office, along with the current employees that we already have, or other employee that we already have, Tai Wolfong, Lieutenant Tai Wolfong, and we can kind of collaborate with the state and make sure that the fire inspections are good to go. For the new fire station, just to recap, we got awarded $5.22 million from the state. We don't actually have that in hand yet, but we're pretty sure that that's going to continue. So we're really excited about that. Right now we're waiting for a soils inspection in mid-May. That is our next step, and we're also working on the back end and continuing on with the design for it. We're pretty much 99% done with the design. Any questions? I did want to remind everyone that on May 3rd, in collaboration with the Moreno Valley Fire Department, Angel Fire Department will be conducting a Firewise/wildfire safety public outreach program at the Lowe's grocery store again on May 3rd. So we invite you out to come out and shake hands and meet everybody and get any information that you may need about defensible space ordnance or Firewise. We also have fire hydrants inspection scheduled for July. As of this July, once we have this inspection process done, we will be 100% have every hydrant tested within the past, this year and last year. And I also wanted to report that the repeater project that we had been working on for multiple months on Aspen tanks along with Moreno Valley Fire Department is finally operational. The fire department is working off a digital repeater, and we've done some testing and have been able to get communications, digital communications all the way down to Black Lake and even some corners down into Valle Escondido and some of the Taos Canyon. So we're pretty excited about that. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have our police chief, Jimmy Mowbray.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Manager, of course our clerk. What you have before you is a quarterly report for January through March of '24 versus January through March of '25. If you recall, we had some discussion about this at the last council meeting, or the one before that actually, and I was asked to kind of get some comparison between the year-to-year stats, third quarterly stats, if you will. So going through this, the calls for service certainly did increase in January, February, and March of '25, with a total being 578 versus the year before there was 409 for the police department. Incident reports generated, the calls for service reports, 184 versus the year prior at 113. Warrants generated, there were 4 in 2025, but the reporting, I was unable to get you data on warrants that were generated through the police department for 2024, and I'll explain a little more about that here in a moment. Arrests were up, there were 15 in those 3 months versus 9 the year prior. Crash reports, we actually went down, which is a good direction to go when it comes to crashes. We went from 8 to 7, so not a significant change, but a change just the same. Traffic citations, total issued in '25 in those 3 months was 186 versus 2024 being 47. Non-traffic citations also increased a little bit, went from 14 up to 25. And as we discussed, I put on here court collections because I think it's important that Mayor and Council have some knowledge at least of what's going on in our municipal court. Now, this does not account for magistrate court fines or anything. This is just within the village municipal court. Total collected in those 3 months in 2025 was $10,274. And for 2024, it was $6,886, minus $59 for an apparent non-sufficient fund check that was issued to the court that, I guess, left unattended or undressed. I think it's important to note that in the 2024 activity reporting is likely underreported, at least to some degree from what I can tell, and that's due to the prior reporting procedures or practices. In July 2024, I was about a month into the job, and I directed that all calls and activities and traffic stops would be documented and logged either through Red River Dispatch or what we receive on the 3214 business line at the police department during regular business hours. So I wanted to capture that data and see the true numbers of what the police department activity is. And we have been very successful in doing that. However, I just want to point out it wasn't necessarily done that way prior in 2024. So some of these numbers may be slightly low. There could be more activity there in 24. I just can't capture that and account for it to you. It's also important to note that in early 2024, the staffing of the police department was 4 officers, and the same third quarter in 25, we had 6 officers on patrol protecting the village. And I could, if anybody cares to know, I'd be happy to break down things further into detail, what the type of calls were, but that's gonna get very lengthy if I do that in a public report. But certainly, council, mayor, manager, if there's any questions or concerns about the goings on, I'd be happy to attend that best I could.
I appreciate the quarterly report, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Chief, I know sometimes the judge lets people work off their fines. Do you know if it's still the case?
So within the village, and Kirk, correct me if I've missed something here, since I have been here about 10 months, there's been no work release type program to pay off your fine. The judge has given people credit for incarceration, and we'll be talking about, I'll be presenting the contract with the Colfax Detention Center later in the agenda. But I know there's been times where he has given credit for time served in lieu of fines in certain instances, which is kind of a double whammy. We're paying for that up front, and now any fine is also getting credit to that, so there's not an income or revenue being shown by the court for that.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Oh, apologies. It's not necessarily on the agenda, but at this time I'd like to call Joel Legg to come up. Joel is the code enforcement officer. He's housed out of the police department. He's got a presentation report to give to mayor and council as well about some of the activities in the code world and permitting and so forth. I took Joel in when he was hired, and we brought him into the police department under the umbrella. He is issued a body camera, the same as the officers. He is on a radio, has a radio issued, and so he calls things into dispatch as well. And we also built him into the CAD system, which is our reporting system, so he can document his own calls for service there. And he's been doing that since probably September or October. So, Joel?
Mayor, Manager Weir, Councilman, Mrs. Strickland. So the printer wasn't working for me, so I don't have my cheat sheet per se, so I'm just gonna verbally try to make this as good as I can. So just to kind of inform the councilman and whatnot on what's going on in the code world, there's been a lot of confusion with the public, a lot of confusion with people knowing like who's in compliance, what permits are closed, what permits are still open, what needs to be enforced, what needs to be left alone. So I'm just gonna kind of fill you in on what's going on now currently. As you all know, we have a new planning and zoning director, Reggie.
Yeah, I was, Reggie, yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like this is gonna make it a lot easier for like organization and stuff like that. And I feel like the reason for all this confusion, we haven't really kept a decent track in the past of like what permits are what date, what time, whether they're from 2020, 2020, and this is building permits, by the way. Specifically that. So, in that sense, Reggie and I are both working on a system, an organized structure, if you will, labeled by dates, times, building permits. It's even got colors, which marks red, yellow, green, who's in compliance, who's not in compliance, so on and so forth. We are currently in the process of doing that right now, of working out a better system, just to create a better system, I suppose. So I'll just keep it brief. Currently, I have been going out there. I've made a list of current open building permits, and I've been checking them off recently. So for the most part, it's good. Most of them are in compliance right now. And there's only one that I could think of right now. I'm still working on it. That's not in compliance. He also received 2 citations in the process. So I think what we need to work on is establish an accurate form of communication between all entities with the village, between the fire department, the police department, us, even Public Works, just so we can communicate better on what needs to be done. If the public comes in, make sure we get to the source. But yeah, that's pretty much what's going on now. Hopefully that gives you all some peace of mind. So,
Thank you.
any questions?
Well, I like the fact that y'all are getting organized so that if someone does call, you can actually
Yeah,
first see if they actually have a permit.
right. So, yeah, just to kind of fill you guys in on that, it will get better. I know it will with Reggie here. It's so much better. It's a lot easier. I feel like we'll be more organized in the future, and there'll be less issues to deal with, so.
Sure.
That's all I got.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead,
Do you have anything else?
I do, one other thing I wanted to just bring to the council and to the community so everybody knows if they see, or when they see, the officers looking closely at their properties. We have an initiative going right now, and we've broken the village limits into 3 zones. And I've assigned 3 different officers to inspect every house and street in that particular zone to identify missing or faded or down signage, as well as house numbers. And I can't encourage the public enough, please display a house number on your house. For public safety purposes, I'm still new here, and just 10 days ago I had a call and I couldn't find the house because the house number was so faded off that I couldn't read it. At first I couldn't see it, and then you couldn't read it. So we're taking that initiative. We're not going to be issuing citations on all of those. We're going to offer a letter of compliance, and the village and the police department, we will work together with these people if they need a house number to make that happen and to get it displayed. And the same for the streets department. I'll be coordinating with Kurt so that they know, well, this street sign's missing or down and whatever. It reminds me of my time in Red River when we have 3 main streets. We have River Street, Main Street, and High Street. And the High Street signs disappeared a lot. Can you imagine how many of those showed up in college dorm room walls? Probably a lot. So some people see a sign perhaps that has their last name on it and it disappears. So we want to try to rectify that because while the village is laid out pretty well, it's complex and it can be difficult to navigate to some of these back road areas. And then if there's not a house number there, or they're mislabeled, you come to house number 33 and the next one is 72. I'd like to see that addressed. So we're working on that. I hope to have a list provided to Kurt by early summer, midsummer, and then the house number initiative to go forward after that, or simultaneous to that. So I just wanted to report on that as well.
Do you, are y'all, so I know originally when they did the 911 numbers all throughout Angel Fire, they had the red numbers on the T-posts, and a lot of those are falling off through the years and stuff, 15 years ago probably. Are y'all going to be able to find out where people can get those red numbers? If they still have the T-posts there, they can just get new red numbers and replace those?
the short answer is yes. I'm gonna work with the community so we can make that available, and I'd like to see every house numbered.
And to Counselor Weeks' point, the red numbers, a house number, is there a standard you're looking for, or just clearly marked house numbers of some kind?
Well, people that wanna customize and put, Hogriff, 1, 2, 3, anywhere street, I'm fine with that as long as we can read it and it's visible from the street. The ones that are way up on the houses that have, a large front yard or setback, those become very difficult. So perhaps in that instance, both at the edge of the driveway and then, a more decorative sign on their porch, I'm fine with that.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, by ordinance, we are required to have a 911 sign with the street, with the house number in front of every property that's occupied.
But when you say that, is that referring to the T-post with the red number?
That's what's required, nothing else is required. Everything else is optional, you can do other things, but that is required by ordinance.
And those somewhat reflective, are easier for us to locate.
Two fence.
So the language that I've seen is 4 to 6 inch lettering, highly contrast and preferably reflective.
All right, thank you, gentlemen.
So we're working on it. Thank you.
Appreciate it. So I will take this opportunity to introduce our new planning and zoning director, Reggie, goes by Reg Bourgeois. Yeah, so obviously he's new to the job, he's doing great, drinking out of a fire hose. So I don't expect him to have anything for council this evening, but I did want to introduce him to the council and to the public, and he's full-time. As you know, Santos Martinez, he's still working with the village, he's been a contractor. He's here 1 to 2 days a week typically, and he will continue to work with us. But we did feel like we needed someone full-time in the P&Z department, and I feel like we found a great person to fill that position, and already seeing some great results, so just wanted to welcome him aboard.
Appreciate it, and by the next meeting, I'll be able to demonstrate what Joel's going to bring into the committee in terms of organization.
Thank you, sir. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
And then, I know I've been watching Adrian and Rocky back and forth. We switched out our servers today, and so they've been dealing with some internet issues, and things still are, but Adrian's back with us, our finance director.
Yeah. Mayor, council, Ileana, boss. I apologize for running back and forth. I'll start with, I guess, the easy stuff. We're in phase 2 of the budget drills, so the next milestone is on the 24th of this month. And then we'll move into, I believe, the 2nd of next month is going to be for the final milestone for that. As far as the servers go, we're typically today we would have had our payroll done, and I understand we also owe you some quarterly reports. We don't have access to the system right now. So we've had it for brief moments today, and then we lose it again. Rocky's back there right now. He's on the phone with Kit Carson, and Kosh is still here. And so they're working it feverishly, trying to get to the root of it. Right before I walked back over here, the Kosh technician feels like he dug through and he found some old email or message that said, hey, anytime you guys move a NID, you have to do this. And so they're on the phone right now after hours with Kit Carson, trying to see if they can get them to do this reset. And he says he's 99.9999% sure that maybe we'll fix it this time. So that's where we're at with that. But so by the next time we get together, I'll have those reports for you. And we've already started working at the contingency plan on what we're going to do for payroll. If they don't get this done tonight, how we're going to be able to work around that to get that done first thing in the morning to make sure that we're still timely.
And this obviously was planned, but things don't always go as smooth as we'd hoped.
Yes,
I'm confident that you'll work through it.
Yes, sir. So that's all I have unless you have any questions for me.
Thank you very much. Okay, that concludes our staff reports. We'll move on to new business. I'd like to open discussion to approval of finance quarterly expenditures.
Mr. Mayor, council, we are gonna have to either move to postpone this item or not take any action on it because unfortunately, because the servers are down today, we didn't have a chance to generate those reports for council. So they'll be on the next council meeting.
Mayor Pro Tem Howe, do you want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve postponing the finance quarterly expenditures.
To postpone.
He said approve to postpone.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item A. Mayor Pro Tem Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Crane,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Humber.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Okay, moving on to item B. I'd like to open discussion for approval of various bars, budget adjustment requests. Resolution 2025-07. Clerk Strickland.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council, Manager Weir. I am presenting budget adjustment requests on behalf of the village. The first one is in the amount of $1,098 for EMS refund. The next is $1,000 for additional funds for training. We have $15,015 transfer funds to pay for a 2025 Chevy Tahoe, a bar in the amount of $100,000 to move funds from cash reserves for the Allen Fields. We have $1,400 for moving funds from cash reserves for internet expenses not budgeted. And lastly, we have a bar in the amount of $53,122.78 for the playground equipment at the community center. All in total is $215,635.78. Any questions? That's all I got.
Any further questions or discussion? If not, I'd ask Mayor Pro Tem Howe to make a motion.
I make a motion to approve various bars with resolution 2025-07.
Second.
Roll call vote on item B. Mayor Pro Tem Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Crane,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Humber.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Okay. Moving on to item C, I'd like to open discussion for the approval of reimbursement travel to Prescott for Captain Romo and Angelo Lidu. Chief Vance.
Hello, good evening again. We sent Captain Romo and Angelo Ledoux to training in Prescott, Arizona. There was some mix-up on the type of reimbursement in which they were applying for. And so after having discussions with Manager Weir and getting down to the bottom of it, we are submitting for their reimbursement.
Any questions?
How much was it total?
I don't have that in front of me,
Okay.
sir. They were, one was approximately 250 and one was approximately 180.
I just couldn't figure it out.
Any other questions or comments? Mayor Pro Tem Howe?
I make a motion to approve reimbursement travel to Prescott for Captain Romo and Angelo Ledoux.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item C. Mayor Pro Tem Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Crane,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Humber.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Okay, I'd like to move on to item D, open discussion for the approval of resolution 2025-13, permission to apply for TFB road project, Lower Bill Burgess Road.
Mr. Mayor, Council, Administrator Weir, and Clerk Strickland. This is actually going to be for Upper Bill Burgess Road. It is 1,050 feet from Five Springs Road going down to that inlet drainage there. I'm asking permission to apply for funding from the state. And I'll stand for any questions.
Any questions or comments? Mayor Pro Tem, if you make a motion for Upper Bill Burgess Road.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2025-14, permission to apply for TFP Road Project, Upper Bill Burgess Road.
Point of order, this is actually resolution 2025-13.
I'm sorry, I was on the wrong line. I make a motion to approve Resolution 2025-13, permission to apply for TPF Road Project, Upper Bill Burgess Road.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item D. Mayor Pro Tem Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Crane,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Humbert. Motion passed.
Thank you. Moving on to item E, I'd like to open discussion for approval of Resolution 2025-14, permission to apply for TFP Road Project,
Lower Bill Burgess.
Lower Bill Burgess Road. I was making sure I'm on the right line.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, Council, and Administrator and Clerks. This is for sidewalks going from along North Angel Fire Road from Vale Avenue down to be ADA compliant. Eventually, once that project is done, then we can, for the last 5 years, I've applied for funding for North Angel Fire Road. So I figured if I can get funding for the sidewalks, get that knocked out, then we can go back and apply for the asphalt rehabilitation. So right now, I'd like to get sidewalks and ADA crosswalks rehabilitated because they are broken and not compliant. And I'll stand for any questions.
If there's no further discussion or questions, I'd ask Mayor Pro Tem Howe to make a motion.
I make a motion for approval of Resolution 2025-14, permission to apply for TFP Road Project, Lower Bill Burgess Road.
Second.
Roll call vote on item E. Mayor Pro Tem Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Crane,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Humbert.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Okay, and then item F, I'd like to open discussion for the approval of concession stand and bathrooms for the Allen Fields.
Gentlemen, before you have a plan for the concession stand restrooms. This building is in 3 separate parts. It comes in prefab concrete building. It already has a floor, so we do not need to lay a pad. We're asking approval to proceed with exploring this option and going and talking to them and entering an agreement with CTX. This company does have a statewide price agreement through Sourcewell, and that is the procurement process we'll be following. And I'll stand for any questions.
Is there a site plan as to where this would be located yet? I see the building.
It's on the south end of the fields,
Okay.
so at the very closest to that drainage there. So we'll have a walkway between the 2 fields eventually. We'll have and it'll be at that south end of it.
And the Frank Young Trail,
We'll end
right
up right
to
there
that.
too. We hope to use lodger's tax funds for the concession stand restrooms. Also, we have a possibility of the Trails Plus grant, because that's the plus part of the grant can be used for restrooms at the end of a trail.
Mayor Pro Tem Howe?
I make a motion to approve a concession stand and bathrooms for the Allen Fields.
Second.
Roll call vote on item F. Mayor Pro Tem Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Crane,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
aye.
and Counselor Humbert.
Aye.
Motion passed.
And on item G, I'd like to open discussion, approval of resolution 2025-15, a resolution to add fees for public records flash drive formats. Strickland.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council, Manager Weir. Now that I am the village clerk, I get the honors of dealing with the IPRA requests that we receive. And in our request, it has a resolution from 2011 in regards to CD compact discs. I'm asking the village if we can add flash drives because CDs are becoming obsolete. They're not even installed in laptops or anything like that anymore. And also to up the charge to 75 cents per page opposed to the 50 cents. And then I also have in your packet the inspection of the Public Records Act that allows that. And I'll stand for any questions.
So basically, if someone comes in and asks for the records, you can just give them a flash drive.
I guess, but
Well, she'll
we're
have
trying to charge for them. It's
Well,
just,
no, I meant charge for it, of course.
Yeah.
right, so, before this, the approach was $5. But it's not in writing, so, a requestee could argue it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, flash drives are almost obsolete now.
Almost, but the laptops
Better
still
than a
have them.
CD,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
So
And, Mr. Mayor, Council, I would say that they're still needed because quite frequently, the IPR files we return to the requester are larger than our email will transport. So we then have to go to some other methodology. Obviously, we can no longer do CDs, and the cost of the flash drives are such that I think this fee is appropriate.
It would be the cost of flash drive plus 75 cents per page on the flash drive?
No, that's only if it's
That's only if
printed.
it's printed.
If they come in and want
We
hard
can't charge
copies.
for that. Only, the electronic data is required by state statute to be free. We can only charge for the drive. The only time we can charge a 75 cent per page fee is if they want paper.
And also, I would just like to clarify, I do want to keep the CDs on there if we can. I just want to include the flash drives.
Fair enough. Any further discussion? Mayor Pro Tem Howe?
I make a motion for approval of resolution 2025-15, a resolution to add fees for public records flash drive formats.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item G. Mayor Pro Tem Howe,
Aye.
Councilor Crane,
Aye.
Councilor Weeks,
Aye.
and Councilor Humbert.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Okay. Move on to item H. I'd like to open discussion for the approval of FY 25-26 agreement with the Maldonado Detention Center. Chief Hogarth.
All right, Mayor, Council, what you have before you is a contract for confinement of inmates between the County of Colfax and the Village of Angel Fire. This will only apply to village inmates, meaning the ones that we charge locally in our court. Anyone charged on a state statute or cited otherwise into a state court, meaning district court or magistrate court for Springer, this will not apply to. It's an adjusted housing rate for detainees, and it will go into effect July 1 of 2025. The rate is going up to $170 per day or partial day for the village to be part of our responsibility. The recitals, I've reviewed this, they're pretty much standard in what the same language we had before. There is a clause in there that I don't much like, but we have no control over, and it says when space is available, even though there is a state statute that says shall make available to municipalities for a detention center run by the county, but that has not come up to my knowledge. As you notice, it is reviewed and Village of Angel Fire signed by Judge Richard Huell, our elected official judge. And I don't see anything else in here that is concerning or alarming. That is a significant increase in price. Unfortunately, it's kind of the cost of doing business nowadays. I do have a handshake agreement with the Taos County Detention Center. When we pick up someone, even if they're on local charges, but they have a warrant out of one of the Taos courts, they will accept the inmate over there at no cost to the village. So, we do have exercised that a few times since I've been your chief. It's worked out pretty well. And it's 25 miles versus 75 miles, so my preference is to go that way. Taos County is not interested at this point due to staffing deficiencies in doing a long-range or long-term contract with us. And that's it.
Mr. Mayor, Chief Ogre, how many nights of detention, to your recollection, did we have last year at Colfax County?
There were months that we had none. There were months that we had 3 or 4 that fell into holiday weekends or availability of judges. However, I can also say, and I probably shouldn't say this with the commissioner sitting in the back, I've not received any billing for that, so I can't give you an accurate dollar amount of what we expended since I've been your chief.
I would just add, when we've done this historically, when I was county commissioner, it was generally 10 to 15 nights a year that we had to pay this fee.
And with the increase in activities, arrests and so forth, it might have gone up a little bit, but probably not a significant increase from that.
Chief or Mr. Manager, do you know if the other municipalities in Colfax County have a similar agreement?
We'll go ahead. The Colfax County Sheriff's Office is currently under contractual agreement to provide law enforcement services to Cimarron and some of the other areas. It's my understanding that housing of inmates is included in that agreement, like it was when I was Taos County Sheriff and we provided police services to the village of Cuesta for 2.5 years. The village didn't get billed for municipal inmates in that. And I believe that's the same contractual language that the Colfax is using as well. Just in closing, I do recommend approval of this. It is our detention center within our county, so I think we need to do it.
Further, Mayor Pro Tem Hal.
Make a motion to approve the FY 2025-2026 agreement with the Maldonado Detention Center.
Okay, go ahead. Second?
Roll call vote on item H. Mayor Pro Tem Hal.
Aye.
Counselor Crane.
Aye.
Counselor Weeks.
Aye.
And Counselor Humbert.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Moving on to item I, open discussion for approval of the donation of the 2009 Kenworth tender. Chief Vance.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, Manager Weir, Clerk Strickland. The 2009 Kenworth water tender that's been sitting next to Fire Station 3 for a number of years. At some point, somebody had batch mixed a bunch of chemicals in that and ruined all the seals within the pump, and it's been sitting since that time. Fire Chief James Sanchez from the Philmont Fire Department came up and assessed it and is willing to take on the project and hopefully get it back into service. So they're willing to receive that as a donation if we would be so gracious to donate it to them. We've received a letter of need, which is required by state procurement, as well as an agreement to remove all Angel Fire markings prior to putting it back in service, as well as a liability release for the village, and those have all been signed and notarized when appropriate by Manager Weir, myself, and the County Fire Marshal and Chief Sanchez.
Do you know how long it's been out of service?
I don't, but it's been...
Jay Mitchell.
Which time?
He was mayor when, I don't know the exact date.
Manager.
Manager. He was manager when that happened, when the mixing happened.
But he was manager 2 different times. I didn't know if it was,
The first time.
Oh.
was it? So it's been a while.
Yes.
4 or 5 fire chiefs ago.
Okay, that long.
It's been a while.
So they're willing to receive it if we are willing to donate it, and we'll follow all the procurement steps to make it happen. We would just need the finalization from the DFA approval to get it done.
Any other questions or comments? Mayor Pro Tem Hal?
Make a motion to approve the donation of the 2009 Kenworth tender.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item I. Mayor Pro Tem Hal.
Aye.
Counselor Crane.
Aye.
Counselor Weeks.
Aye.
And Counselor Humbert.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Okay, item J, open discussion for the approval of resolution 2025-16, a resolution to update bank and financial accounts for the Village of Angel Fire. Manager Weir?
Mr. Mayor, Council, Clerk Strickland. So as you may be aware, we are in the process of transitioning our primary banking institution from InBank to New Mexico Bank and Trust. And this is basically the paperwork that is required to set up new accounts at New Mexico Bank and Trust for us to transfer into.
Any questions or comments? Mayor Pro Tem Hal?
Make a motion to approve resolution 2025-16, a resolution to update bank and financial records for the Village of Angel Fire.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item J. Mayor Pro Tem Hal.
Aye.
Counselor Crane.
Aye.
Counselor Weeks.
Aye.
And Counselor Humbert.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Okay, and our final item on the agenda, item K, I'd like to open discussion for the approval of agreed upon lodger's tax procedure. Manager Weir?
Yes, so Mr. Mayor, Council, and Clerk Strickland. When your lodger tax exceeds a certain threshold in state statute, you're required to have an audit done of your lodger tax payers. And so we contracted with our audit firm that does our financial audits to conduct this lodger's tax audit. They did so in the February-March timeframe. They actually ended up auditing 3 different of the payees into our system. There was an issue with one of them. After they did the initial audit, we had to give them a third one, but they're only required to audit at random 2 a year as part of this audit. So they did conduct the audit. They did not have any findings. And it looks as though, if you read through it, they did make some recommendations for policies that we will incorporate in writing in our policies that our new finance director is in the process of developing. But the actual numbers, everything checked out on the 2 vendors that they completed the audit with. So officially, we just have to approve the audit as council so it can be submitted to the New Mexico, the state auditor.
So, Mr. Manager, are we approving the audit or the procedures?
We're actually approving the audit. The procedures are a piece of the audit, so I think I probably wasn't clear when I gave that to Clerk Strickland. So we are approving the audit.
Mayor Pro Tem, would you
I
like
make a motion to approve the agreed upon lodger's tax audit.
Second.
Roll call vote on item K. Mayor Pro Tem Hal.
Aye.
Counselor Crane.
Aye.
Counselor Weeks.
Aye.
And Counselor Humbert.
Aye.
Motion passed.
That was our final action item. Our final item this evening is the manager's report. Mr. Weir.
Mr. Mayor, Council, and Clerk Strickland, I just have a couple of things. First of all, today was Earth Day, and we did have about 20 residents work with the majority of the village staff, and I think we did a very good job. I wish Carly was here. I don't know the exact number of bags that we picked up, but it was a large number. I do know that we had a competition between departments, and the streets department won the competition with 21 bags of trash that they picked up. So, thanks to the street guys that are here, and, so, we have to figure out what we're gonna give them, I don't know. But, yeah, they did a great job, hopefully people recognize it, it was a lot of trash. I would estimate it was at least 50 bags of trash, if not more. Carly, does have a record of that, but I didn't get the number, today. So I just wanna congratulate everybody on that. Also, I want to remind you that on Thursday, we have our first public hearing on the budget. The way that's going to work is each department head will get up and give 5 minutes per fund to the council and just a description of what's going on. We will actually have, hopefully tomorrow in your packets, I hope to have them today, but since our servers were down, we didn't get them printed. Tomorrow, hopefully, we will have the preliminary version of the budget available for you to look at. Keep in mind, this is just the first of 3 public hearings we'll have. We'll have this one, which is just kind of an introductory one to the public. We will have another one on May 22nd, which will be the hearing for the intermediate budget that we submit to the state. And then in July, we will have another one. We haven't scheduled that one yet, but probably the 3rd week in July, we will have the final budget that will be submitted to the state no later than July 31st. So we will, there's a lot to cover. I want everybody to get their chance to let you guys know what went into their budget and the things they're trying to accomplish in the coming year with the citizens' money. So it's gonna be a true dog and pony show.
Really bad dogs and ponies?
I mean, I'm the pony.
If I may, there was a budget work session meeting also scheduled on April 29th. Does that need to be?
Oh, that's right. We moved it to, did we move it to the 29th? Because, was it Chuck, you couldn't be there on the 24th?
Right, I'm out on the 24th as well, so.
And I was gonna mention that.
Sorry, I just said the wrong date. It's the 29th. Originally,
Okay.
we were gonna do it on the 24th, and we moved it to the 29th. My bad.
Dog and pony show, the 29th.
Dog and Pony Show 29th.
We get 2 ponies since we're pushing it out a week?
Yeah, we can do 2 ponies.
Is that the manager's report?
That's it.
All right, well, with that, this meeting is adjourned.
Recording stopped.
Well, originally, we said that on Thursday.
Well, and they know which cul-de-sacs go to the
They were nice enough to keep going by and taking my bag. Giving me everything.
Not dummies.